Hello, everybody. How y'all doing today? We're gonna have some fun scoring some scenes. Just turn down this volume a bit and catch up with chat. I had to step away from the computer right after I hit that go live button. Wouldn't you know it? Let's see who's here and what y'all are talking about. Good day, Saf. Liking the name of this title. Awesome. And yeah, I'm thinking Fatal Frame might be the next one up that we do. Distorted reality. Guy falls down steps and lands scorpion pose on the OhmLab floor. That's awesome. Oh, that's great. Durdilly, thank you for the follow. Or Durdilly? You let me know how to say that. Akira, yes, amazing sound designer and composer. Greetings from a wannabe sunny Maryland, says Paul. Greetings from a light gray overcast with plenty of falling leaves, Portland. No rain right now. Rain overnight, though. It's nice. Rain is here. We have permission to celebrate with whiskey and shortbread. This is an excellent combination. You can soak your shortbread in whiskey, wash down your shortbread with whiskey. Saffron's going to settle for some tea. Paul, how goes the synth madness? Ah, you gotta love the community when they announce when they run to the bathroom. Good luck in there, Kai. Although you're probably back by now, I'm still catching up. Rain says, I'm slowly coming to the realization that I may not get the drummer I want in my studio anytime soon. I lack the proper motivation, apparently. Bummer. Well, and COVID. I'm a drummer. I bet there's plenty of people here that could help virtually. Onward to figuring out how to program something acceptable for a mock-up. Yeah. Heyo, hello, Zev. How are you, man? Yeah, I remember Fatal Frame too, Rain. Excellent. Noel, welcome. Got all sorts of interesting folks in the room already today, huh? Second way is phonetically alright. It's just like... dirtily. Got it. Thank you. Rain needs rain. Everybody needs rain. Saf, you're playing the Japanese version of Fatal Frame. Is that in an effort to, or your continuation of learning Japanese? Oh, that's great weather for producing music, Noel. What are you working on today? Computer stuff or Music stuff. Random question to chat. What is the plural of miss, as in female? Ooh, misses? That's a good question. Miss us. I synth and so I breathe, says Paul. Red, orange, and black skies. Oh. From the fires. Man. Subvids, welcome. Andremia, welcome. Hello. Just catching up. Thank goodness for the interwebs and copy and paste. There you have it. There's the plural of miss. Rain. Everybody send good thoughts and rain dances to Rain. We've dealt with wildfires this year, and it was messed up. And you're just 5 miles away from evacuations. We were in the same exact situation. Thoughts are with you. That's not easy. Everybody needs rain right now. Wash away all sorts of stuff. Subvids. Rain does. All right, guys, let's jump into some scoring. So here's what we're going to do to avoid any kind of issues with the man. I'm going to share a link rather than post a download. This link right here is to a scene from Silent Hill. This is the original audio on it. It's weird and awesome, right? Because it's Silent Hill. We're going to use sounds that we've been making for the past few weeks in the community Halloween project of ours. We're going to redo this. I decided not to opt for like a 30-second clip. Instead, this runs almost 8 minutes, so there's plenty of different places to jump around to. And to keep it interesting, I've only watched the first 60 seconds or so. So I'm going to stop it right here so I don't give myself a little spoiler. I already grabbed the video, and you guys can toss this into your DAW. So I know a lot of you are PC users out there. I'm a Mac user. And I'm going to be showing off a tool called Audio Design Desk quite a bit. But I hear the concerns about being, you know, DAW agnostic, platform agnostic. I get it. I just want to show off Audio Design Desk in general just because it's next level, next generation stuff. And it's coming soon to a computer near you. And I want to get it in front of you guys, right? But before we do that, to keep everything really on the level so everyone can play along in similar fashion, we'll do this inside of Logic today because that's my DAW. You guys can use whatever DAW you like. They all support video. So I will show you how to do that, and we'll jump right into scoring the scene. And yeah, I stopped myself before I hit the minute mark on this video, so it didn't influence me. I really have no idea what's coming next. I have not actually played this one. So it should be fun seeing what kind of feelings we all get using the sounds that were created in stream recently. For those of you who want to download sounds from the community drive that have been uploaded by other members, you can do so here. There's a link in the chat. It's command sounds if you want to pull that up later. If you want to submit sounds so you can play along and let other people play with your sounds, go ahead and send to holler@ohmlab.tv. That link is in the chat as well. You can also just send to me to have me use live in stream. Yeah, I've never played this one either, Saf. All right, so here we go. I'm just going to pull up the, put this over here. Okay. There it is. So usually when you bring in video into a DAW, it's going to ask you what you're going to want to do with it. And if you see the option of extracting the audio track, do that. You normally will. And I'll use 30 frames because I think that's probably what we're running on the stream. Okay, and we'll just mute this track. So there's a couple really nice things about this kind of a workflow with your DAW. If you've never worked with bringing video into one of your projects for any reason, there's some serious benefits. Number one, you can just ignore the movie screen entirely and just hone in on the sound. And that right there will demystify so much of what you hear, because we are heavily influenced by what we see, and we're even more influenced by what we hear. And there's this very interesting thing that happens inside of our brains. We are filling in the blanks, if you will, just constantly. And once you throw things like psychoacoustics into the mix, where you are manipulating perception in ways that are fundamentally psychological in nature, right? It's removing all of the physical tethers to this, but it's still, every one of those synapses is tied to a physical function, right? So there is no escaping, and that's why we can trigger certain emotions and set the mood so easily with just a single sound, even the most simple sound, right? And the quieter things get, the more we tune in, the more proximity relationship type stuff there is in play, the more we tune in. And then there's all of these visual things that we put into the mix that will just, it just grabs us, okay? So when you put video into your projects, it does a couple of things. If you're working on music, it gives you a sense of the kind of energy that your music currently has, right? If it can transform a scene, if it can get your blood kind of pumping, or make you, or like trick you into thinking that something really exciting is about to happen, even though you're just watching a mundane episode of Friends or something, right? Then you're probably onto something, right? Okay, so there's one thing. Another thing is if you're just doing general sound design and you're wondering how your stuff might compare to other things, or if it would even work bringing things to life in someone else's project, then the best way to know for sure is to open up video and sync your sounds to it while you're actually working on them. Your stuff will become a lot more believable. You don't necessarily need to be working on a specific project to be viewing that material while you work. You know what I mean? And this is especially powerful when you're developing sounds for a client, right? You're doing something for a specific app or game or movie or television show or something. then having screen involved is important, right? And a little pro tip on the music side of things, if you're trying to recreate sounds and you're very, very close, but you can't quite get the energy of it in some way or the motion of it in some way, sometimes it's better to actually have a video in your DAW, even if it's just a music video. I know it doesn't show you the music, but the excitement and the energy that you're getting when you're watching these videos, because oftentimes when people send me links to stuff to check out to see if I can help them get closer to a sound that they're trying to recreate or learn how to make, they send me a YouTube video. And when I ask almost all of the time, the answer is yes, this is where I usually tune into this track, especially while I'm working, right? So it tells you something. You're not going to Spotify, right? And if you have the track, you can just drop it into your DAW. But think about where all of the feelings that you're having about that sound are actually coming from, right? And if you can hear the sound in the video and then remove the video in the same space, it does something in the way that you're analyzing the sound, and vice versa. You can play your sound back during that same segment of the video and see if you're capturing that same thing. So there are a few different things that you could do with video, but obviously the most utilitarian is lining up your sounds with it to see if things work. That said, if you do get the pleasure of working on a film or television show or a podcast or video game or something like that, you're going to be doing a lot of this kind of stuff. And it may be in a DAW environment, or it might be in something a bit more robust, like middleware for game dev, or actual sound design platforms like Audio Design Desk, which we'll look at. But so we'll get started with this and see what we can get up to. So for now, I've just muted the audio track down here, and we're just going to start looking at these scenes, and it'll probably take me maybe just a couple of minutes to kind of get into the feel. And I'll probably just open up a little Finder window and audition some sounds in real time and start dropping them into the timeline. And when you guys have recollections of things that we've created that you think will fit, you holler, and I'll toss them in there and see how it works. I'm always willing to try and see how things fit. And if you have sounds on your end that you've been working on and you think they will fit, you make sure I get them. So again, I'll post the email in the chat and the link to the sounds that you guys can grab from the other community members. And you can play along. So here we go. I'm already thinking that our kind of dark, wet, cavernous kind of sound that we were making would go very well there. This guy's obviously coming to after being out for a while. Maybe we make something that's a little wonky. Maybe he's not feeling quite up to par yet. Something going on there. All right, so I'm thinking that the dogs eating out of their bowls that we transformed into nasty monsters chowing down on something will go well there. Let's just back up and work at this kind of in a linear way here. Let's grab this first sound. And if there are questions that you guys have as we're doing this, you just holler. I'm going to stare at the screen for chunks of time. I won't be totally tuned into chat the entire time, so patience is accepted or appreciated. Oh, nice. Oh, good, Rain. Excellent. Yeah, that's kind of my thing. Yeah, we're going to score some scenes, Swamp Life. This is actually some Silent Hill stuff, and we are scoring with the sounds that we've been creating during our last few weeks. This Halloween community sound design project we've been doing. The links are in the chat to the sounds if you want to play along on your end. And again, if you want the video, if you want to use the same video, I'll post that into the chat again. And if you guys could just help people find those things later on in the stream, that'd be great. All right. So I'm going to grab, let's see if we can find the kind of cavernous, dark, wet kind of sound. Oh, geez, the squirrel screams. Oh, that reminds me, inevitably there's going to be a creaky door in here. And when that happens, we've got to go back and find the donkey. It was just a couple of streams before this. Oh, I think I should just be looking on the drive, right? That would make it a lot easier. Where are they? Maybe I accidentally closed it. There we go. Oh yes, creature snack. That's what we called it. Creature snack. And I don't think I put the wonky donkey up there. So let's see if this ominous might be it. And no footsteps. Oh, you know which one I'm thinking of is the one that I'm not sure if we actually bounced it. Let me just open that up really quick. That would have been, this is the 21st, so probably this one. Yeah, this is it. Because we got these recordings, a seat being moved. That's right. Okay, so we'll take these. Oh, this isn't the one. It was the next stream. Okay, so this one. So I'm just going to bounce some stuff really quick and bring it in here because I think we did kind of this wet cavernous thing. A clip from Young Frankenstein. Awesome. 7 ring. The donkey lives on. The donkey and the squirrels. Oh my god, the donkey. I think we all cried a little bit the day of the donkey. Oh man, that was really something. Okay, so it's this one. This one. If we were to take out the gamelan here. Yeah, this would totally be fine. Let's just let's just juice this a tiny bit. How long is this? Oh, that's plenty. In fact, we could probably just do a quick loop here. Because that definitely does not run 1 minute, so we don't even need to really worry about a fade or anything here. Okay, cool. So let's just put maybe a little bit of loudness on this to squash it just a bit. Sounds all right. It's a little quick and dirty, but I think this is going to be fine because I'm just looking for something for that first intro scene here. And I'll bounce a better version of it for y'all here in a bit. All right, so this one we'll just call, oh boy. How about Down the Tunnel, since that's where we're going on this scene. This will help set the mood in that intro scene. Zoom. Rain, my recommendation is zoom as well. Yeah, I highly recommend them. Mine's been around the world with me, and it's great. Again, I'm sure that probably just kind of cuts there, but I really don't care. So we will jump out. And no, I don't even need to save that. And we're just going to bring that right into this project here. Oh, and I should probably save this. 21? 21. I can't believe it's the 21st already. Unbelievable. Oh my god, you guys. I still haven't turned off those flipping hotkeys. Streams 1021. Alright. So this was 19. Bounce down the tunnel. Let's find a good spot for this. Kill this one. All right, if you're in Logic or DAW, usually when you're only seeing the screen in a tiny little window, if you double click on it, that'll go into a little modal pop-up. It's always very handy. If you have a nice second monitor, you can just run them side by side. Okay, so we could go into like some kind of noisy. The fade almost even fits, huh? Okay, so we could have a little glitch static thing. I know we've made a few of those. So that's really starting right around here. Okay. So to keep that going quickly, what we'll do is we'll just bring in a noise sample. And for those of you that have the noise collection, I'm sure you can find something quite easily. That's what I'm going to grab from right now. The dirty projector kind of sound is kind of an interesting idea with this, you know, this kind of film flicker thing. We could maybe push up the high end on that. Maybe we can do that. Yeah, it looks to be about a 30-second dotted. It's back just slightly here. Bring this down. And then we'll just toss a little fade on there. See, one nice thing about Logic is that it's been used for scoring and stuff for so long in the industry that little details like grabbing an automation breakpoint and dragging will help you see exactly how it affects the sync later on. It's just incredible, actually. Okay, so around here, we dip to black, which means that around here, right there is where that fade starts. So we'll just meet it there. Okay. And we can put effects and stuff into play to make these transitions smoother as well, like reverb. Because like the next scene will kind of pull up at that same time. There'll be like a little crossfade or something, and you can oftentimes make stuff fit a little bit better by adding just a small amount of additional reverb to help it sit in the same space. So something like this would probably be a hall. just grab the noise sound here. Always EQ your reverb. Don't be a savage. I don't want too many lows in this. The lows really help give the sense of the cavernous space, and the resonant tones that you get down there really help with this like close proximity, wet, damp, reflective space. But at the same time, we've also got this other element in play. It's got more than enough low end for us in that. Okay. And I know that I've just put a tremolo on this, but I think what I'm going to do is put a second one on it. The first one has a 0 phase sync, so I'm just going to leave this one at 180. So the first one is acting as a volume automation, and this one in effect is working as a pan automation because it's still volume, but it's shifting between left and right channels, alternating. So I think what we'll do is bring this down to like maybe a half. And we're going to move part of that sound left and right just to make it a little more heady and seem just a little bit more film-like. Yeah, okay. So now let's tackle the next scene. Okay, so it's right around here. So to keep our sanity intact, what we do is we just remove everything that we don't need in our timeline. And it helps make finding things a lot easier. So now we just need to look at this next scene for a bit and figure out what kind of sound this space might have. Okay, and this is going to run from, well, let's say 13-ish. This whole room. Kind of ends here. So it's just under a minute. So let's go find something that can work in there. Oh, Paul, learning the Twitch and Restream software today. Excellent. Find the keymaster. You should easily find it inside of OBS or the platform that you're streaming to. It's mostly they walk you through it when you get set up. Paul, usually in the channel settings on whatever platform you're streaming to. So in other words, if you're streaming to Twitch, you need to have the Twitch account set up first. And then within your channel settings, in there, you're going to find the stream key information. And like Rain said, it'll probably be asterisked out. And then you can like click reveal or whatever. And that's basically the address of the destination that you're going to be sending to. What sound do we use for that drone? Oh, that was a couple of things. One was one part of it was a patch from Absinthe that I made from the After Pack. So for those of you who have the After Pack, you can look at the last daytime stream and see exactly how I worked that in with a simple, it's kind of like a horn patch inside a serum that was dropped down a couple of octaves. Those were the two main elements. Yeah, you really can't go wrong with Zoom. The almighty tremolo plug, right? Absolutely. All right, so onto the scene here. We're going to find... I'm trying to stick to the sounds that you guys have access to in all of this. The screaming squirrels, spooky shakers. Oh my goodness, the wonky donkey. That was amazing. Something like this might be a bit forced. I think it might be a bit forced, but we can try. Thank you for the follow. Meijin Shu. We can also just go for one of the individuals. I have the individual stems from this ominous soundscape up on that community drive. You guys can grab that. Little things like this really make a scene sometimes. Like this right here would be good general ambience for like walking on a hallway or something. Oh yes, our footsteps with the chain instrument that we made. Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll bring in this muffled breeze and we'll bring this up in a crossfade from this other scene. So we'll just bring this over. It gives us just a little bit of kind of, you know, room ambience. So we'll make that fade in nicely. We'll get the timing of that. We won't keep it too low end. So we'll just take out a bit of the bottom of this. And we're not going to leave it in there soloed long enough for us to really recognize that it's a breeze that's been muffled. Instead, what we'll do is we'll bring in the next element. So this is really just kind of a transition buffer. There's a fair bit amount of this black space, right? Because this person's coming to after being out for a while. Yeah, so I think yeah, okay, so we're just gonna massage this just a bit. We're just gonna let a small amount of the sound kind of eke through, and then we're going to jump in with maybe even the entire ominous mix here. Except I wish that the chimes weren't in there yet. So I think what we'll do is we'll just ease into it. We'll start with this. So we'll bring in all three of these, and we'll start with 2. We'll lead in with 2. So you gotta love Logic. I'm looking for the spot where we start to see his face. I'm just gonna drop all 3 files. And I'm going to start with number 2. That was actually fairly decent timing. I'm just going to make this a bit smaller. So you kind of want your fade curves to match the timing of the visual transitions, which will always make things fit very well. If the timing matches up, our minds will help fill in the believability factor. The next most important thing is volume balance. Just like a general mix in music, like the volume balance has to be there. If it's not there, the brain won't succumb. It will not immerse. Saf, yeah, so it was just a patch inside of Absinthe. If you're asking about the drone sound, it was a patch inside of Absinthe, and it was a simple kind of horn sound that was dropped a couple of octaves made in Serum. And then those were layered. And that gives you the bulk of the sound. And then there were just a few other little elements that I added in for texture and interest and stuff. But what you're hearing initially... Oh, and then there's also something from the liquid air pack. I do remember that. We put in drops. Cave drops, I believe, is the one that it was. So if you have that pack, we put that in there. Also, again, all these things were just kind of layered, and it's all about the volume balance of each one, or the overall volume balance, to make sure that each one is sitting in just the right spot. Okay, so I want the bon to the low element to come in exactly when he realizes that there's some kind of like medical equipment in this room. Like this light just smacks of a hospital room or something, doesn't it? Okay, so it's like it's right in here, and I want this to be, oops, I want this to be kind of sudden, because it's this dawning realization, it seems. Yeah, like that. So I'm going to give it just a tiny little cushion that comes in that isn't too jarring. There we go. Now let's just bring that down. We're after impact, not dominance here. Okay, so this may even be better if we pitch up a bit. Let's see what that sounds like pitched up. Now, if this was, again, with the almighty tremolo, just to see what it might sound like. Let's go up 2 octaves here. Nah. Okay, so this should be pretty darn mellow in the mix. Our loop is on. Okay, I want to adjust the timing at which this comes in. It's a disorienting kind of thing. And right here, the camera starts to go kind of circular. And that's what I want the tremolo to really, this whole pad to kind of sync up with here. So I'm actually gonna move this over a bit in the timeline. I'm gonna add a little volume curve on it, just like the rest, ease into it. Okay, so right here, we see this guy, or this figure, right, this silhouette, and we can hear what it is. We can't see what he is yet, but we've got to put this sound in there. So now we've got to go hunt down those sounds that we manipulated from subvids. So I'm going to save. Let's just go over here. I don't think it was one of these, was it? Oh, Creature Snack. Yes, it was. Oh, that was so small though. Okay, but that was in this project, so we've got to work on this one. Let's open up this one. Don't close. I think we can handle it. Hallowed. Oh, probably because we moved this. So let's find it. Who sent in that Hallowed? Oh, I think that was Subviz. Let's see here. Yeah, it was in here somewhere. Okay. Cool. Oh yeah. We made some good stuff in this session. All right, let's see if we can find our creatures. We did a bunch this day, didn't we? Look at all that. Look at all that. Meat. Okay, so it was this one here. Okay, and we're again back to that kind of low breeze element again. So I guess we can try that. Where's our movie? Okay, well, this actually might kind of sink in here. Let's get a little EQ action on here. Maybe if we mix that with some general kind of meaty goodness. How good are these pads matching up with this scene so far, though, huh? Alright, so it's not that much. We just need to go find a little bit of meat content. Let's do that. Let's grab some. Textures? No? Yeah, something like this will probably work. We'll just have to massage it just a little bit. Okay, so we don't want this, and we don't need this. just take those out. Those are just too big for our scene here. All right. We can probably do something with that, though. I think we'll take a couple. Oops. Copy, please. Copy this over. Sometimes this just happens to work magically, so I'll just show you guys this trick. And for those of you who have produced things like hip hop and whatnot, you'll be kind of familiar with this idea of just kind of moving stuff around in such a way that you start to mask. Okay. Mask the fact that you're putting more content in front of people than you actually have. Something like this, you've got things like breath and whatnot to worry about. So as a super quick fix, what we can do here is actually just take out some breath. All right, see how that fits. Okay, where are those breaths? Let's see here. Is it right here? Oops. Oh, no, I see it. It's this one. Hilarious. The bits that I chose to move around were actually the bits with the breath that I didn't want. That's Absolutely funny to me. Just trying to think about timing of these little meat slaps and stuff with what's actually showing on the video screen at that same time. Just trying to make sure that the movements here are kind of, you know, working in the same general pace. Okay. So I think that sounds fairly good. We need just one last little thing as he comes up. And these others we can toss. Oh, not that last one though. Okay, so if we bring this all back in, and then boom, we cut to this scene. So what we'll need to do is, I guess that looked pretty okay. See if we can get these into the right volume position here. Oh, and these should get some verb on them too. So put this into a room. Something that's got some bright reflection. Stone wall room. Yeah, that's probably going to be the one. Let's just shape this really quick. Okay, so it fits in this room. Yeah, now let's just bring it down. So if you're wondering what that is, it's just meat being massaged. If you want more wet think of something like chicken chopped up, right? And then you just stick your hand into a bowl and move it around. If you want something a bit more, and that would be good for, like general innards kind of gory type stuff. If you're looking for more like harder muscle type stuff, red meat. Okay, so something along these lines here. Zev, you're into this. Oh, how nice. This is so cool. It's perfect. The pad's awesome. So the video is from right here. You can go there right now and view it. You can grab that. Yeah, Seth, you could try. I ended up not using the deep-breath just because I decided it'd be easier just to chop it out and keep the entirety of the sound. So I just made my own new version of that by chopping out all those little bits. It just seemed a little bit easier. What was the original sound? Hey, good question. Let's just do this. We can always go back and listen. So let's just listen to what this whole thing sounded like originally up until this point. I try my best when doing this stuff to not look too far ahead, right? So let's just go from the beginning and see what this looked like. These are the original sounds that we're about to hear, and then we'll go back and we'll listen to our sounds put in here instead. So far, our transitions are better. Creaky gate. Metal drop is kind of a weird thing. Okay, so that was the original. Again, we can just run through that one more time really quickly so you can capture it in your mind. So far, I like our transitions quite a bit more. There's a lot of dead air there. Not sure where the crank sound is coming from. Okay, so let's put ours back in there and see what this sounds like. We should put some breathing in there for him. All right, so we need to have some sounds put in here now for this little operation that's happening over here. So let's see what we can find for that. I think we're going to have to make something for that really quick. Oh, you know, instead of looking, let's just go to our old friend. Okay, so let's type in guts. Pumpkin. Oh my goodness, it's one of the best ever. Somewhere. I'm waiting for a new drive to arrive. I finally settled on some new drives for my new machine. And when I get everything put onto one drive, I've actually got some really good pumpkin stuff. These are all too fast. This is...
Go really slow, just keep moving your fingers slow. Like...
That's pretty good. That's pretty good stuff. This is better. Okay, let's grab this. How's this one? Okay. So we will add that to our timeline here. Where'd that go? We'll want to kind of crossfade this just a bit with the other stuff that we just finished putting up. Okay, so we don't need this. You'll notice that I'm really not too worried about finding zero crossing points right now. This is very much just a hunt for textures. Oh, and he stops. Okay, so we can cover up the this rough transition here. We can cover that up with some movements from him. Volume does wonders, doesn't it? Okay, so that's pretty close. So I guess what we'll do is we'll just glue these really quick, and then before we go any further, I just periodically like to just grab everything and toss in a quick little in and out on everything. Make sure there's no pops or clicks or anything. All right, so some footsteps. Maybe we'll use our footsteps with our jingles, with our chain jingles. That was a fun little instrument that we made. We can always check and see if the loop that I bounced somehow magically matches up with it. Just footsteps. These guys. This probably will not match up. I think he's moving quite a bit quicker than this, but we'll see. This right here is where something like Audio Design Desk takes this whole process to another level, because you're quite literally just typing, and similar to what we did with creating this playable instrument, which is what we'll probably end up using here in this situation. What it does is it just it's magic. You can just type on your keyboard for the footsteps that you want, and then you can hot swap stuff out in either random or fairly constrained parameters. It's incredible. Yeah, so these footsteps won't work for this, but what we can do is we can grab that instrument, that kontakt instrument that we made, where we combined a simple footstep and some chains to make this believable walker. Oh, hey Nate, how's it going? Welcome. How you doing? Trance in your pants. Welcome back, Ricky. How you doing, man? We probably got some of your sounds floating around in here. We're continuing on with the Halloween community project thing. You actually haven't missed too much because we did take a bit of a break last stream or the one before. Had a headache, wasn't really feeling it, so we made music instead. Like ours better, much more dark and ominous. Yeah, too true. Nice, nice. Welcome, Nate. Thank you. And welcome. How is today? The footsteps sound okay to you? Well, it's they do sound all right. It's just that they're completely out of sync. So I think it. Well, we could chop them too. I guess we could just chop them. But it's kind of nice just to see the process of this whole thing. So let's find that really quick. It should not be hard. Those were the modern UI samples. Okay, this was the squirrel and the chain. Okay, so it's this project right here. Let's just open this up. We'll save this one. You can actually, within Logic, you can actually import individual elements or whole channel strips, the whole 9 yards. You can just import them from one project into another without ever closing your project. It's pretty slick. But I don't think we actually created and saved the instrument. I think that we had to. Okay, so here are those footsteps here. Oh, you know what? And also, this was actually a quick sampler. This wasn't even kontakt, so I just did this straight within Logic. So what we'll do is we're going to take this one right here, this track sum, even better, because that has the reverb on it. So what we'll do is we'll make our own. So even better, we'll have this one's our footstep. Okay, and this one is the chain. It's so small and minimal, and together they sound like this. Okay, so we're going into this one, and we'll save this. So we'll call this and we're going to do the same here. Okay, now we should be able to, that saves all of our modulation and randomization settings that we built up for the round robin effect. So now what I can do is open that up over here. Wait, was that our quick sampler? Is that what it was? There we go. Okay, so I'm going to say footsteps on this one. And on this one, we will actually load the chains. Okay, and we'll play these in tandem. So we can stack these just like we did in the other one. And we can arm all of them. Okay, so it's these keys here. So what I'm going to do is play back this scene, and it'll take me a few times of watching it to really kind of tune into his steps. So it's these 5. In the interest of time, I'm just going to move these over. I'm just going to do this manually really quick. It's just because the setup that I have with my keyboard right now for these streams is such that it is behind me. It makes it a little bit harder for me to grab. You've got to make the footsteps happen when you can't see them to keep the continuity. So even though we can't see the step that happens here off camera, it still happens. Okay, these two should actually be swapped here. Actually, that one really doesn't even fit. Let's bring this one over. That's a little bit better. Let's play that back. Oops. And I probably... There we go. All right, let's bring this down. We'll put this into a room. Always got a couple more steps in here. Oops. This one seemed like a slightly bigger step, so I'll make this one a little bit more heavy footfall. And then it's got this kind of soft toe again here. And a heavier one here. Kind of lumbering. I'll bring that one up as a heavier footfall here. Oops. Okay. We do need to make these sound like they're in a space where they belong now. So let's just do that really quick. So we'll just solo this and oops. All right. I did like the sound of that medium space that we were in. Stone wall. And normally when doing stuff like this, I would actually create one verb that's actually saved and used consistently across all sounds. But in the interest of time, I'm just kind of using these as is. See if I can remember largely the right settings for this. And then he just kind of boogies on out of this room. So there's some sharp cuts here. Some interesting choices. Oh, Nate, no worries, dude. Always happy to talk through stuff with you, dude. Always. 2020 sucks. That's all there is to it, man. 2020 sucks. We all need to have the chance to say what's on our minds and what's bugging us, and yeah. Just know that you're never alone, dude, and that there are 1,000,001 ways in which we can distract ourselves from reaching our goals. Proximity to the things you enjoy doing in your downtime shouldn't dominate your quest to succeed in the areas that you want to succeed in. Yeah, there actually is a way to go in a frame at a time. If you go in and customize your bar control and settings, you can turn on, nudge. Or actually, sorry, that is the old versions of Logic. It's actually here in this little drop down menu here. There's this nudge value, and you can go by the tick, or you can go by the bar, or the frames, and you can do it that way. That's about as granular as you can get, actually. So Nate says, I'm just in a bind. Do I, 1, keep a steady job where jobs are scarce, or 2, be my own boss in a less expensive area but have the stress of the unknown? I think 2 will be the one if everyone is on board here in the household. Yeah. Well, it's hard to walk away from a job. Just know that the kind of work that you're doing right now can be done elsewhere. And that's an important thing to remember, because it is easy to be scared of the unknown. And it's also easy to get used to and acclimate to the stress and the burdens of wherever you are right now. And both of those things can be detrimental in the long run, because those are the exact type of things where when you do get away from them with 2020 hindsight, you usually hear yourself saying things like, oh man, I wish I would have done it 6 months sooner, or, oh, I wish I had been doing this for the last year instead of the last month, or whatever. And those are the moments we're supposed to tune into and learn from, right? And on that note, I'll be right back. I'm going to go hit the bathroom. I'm going to grab some coffee. And then we're going to continue on with this project here. And more real talk, I'm sure. So sit tight. Grab yourself a cup of joe, or a beer, some tea, or whatever floats your boat. And I will be right back. And I am back. Coffee secured. Legs stretched. All right. Nate, take care, man. See you on the flip side. Let's catch up soon. Coffee. Coffee. All right, so we got some footsteps in there. They're not the greatest, but it's enough to sync the scene. And let's see what happens when this dude leaves this room. Kind of curious as to what happens next. Okay, this right here, I think we might just want to put our own little sound in for right now. I wish I had started with different footsteps because that's going to drive me nuts, the mismatch. But okay, so we'll make that a more even fade, and let's just build a super quick ambience for this space, and we'll just make it quick and dirty here. All right. And maybe we'll just do a sharp band pass. And let's maybe also bring in a little noise. We'll just bring in one of mine because I know it. That's decent enough for what we need. And then let's just put a room here. All right, come back and fine tune this just a bit. Something like this, and we can just take a tiny bit of modulation here. All right, let's get that reverb back in there. Okay, now just for gripping intrigue and whatever, let's add just a little. Let's just add like a little pulse or something right here. Maybe just something really subtle like that. Okay, so we will put that in. Let's start it right around here. I don't know if 120 is the best BPM to be doing this, but we'll put this little subtle little thing in here. All right, so again, we're after the super subtle effect on this one. I really like working with really subtle sounds and then compressing them to help bring a bit more texture to projects like this. All right, so let's fade these guys together here. We've got these elements up top that are all coming to an end here. That one naturally fades out right there. This one should fade up in. Okay, so actually, these guys do need just a little bit of help getting out of the way here. Paul, congratulations on the first stream test going successfully. Okay, so now we can put footsteps in here. I think to make this easy, we'll continue to use the same footsteps again and again, but on this one, I think what we'll do is we'll put an EQ over the top of this thing. Hey, where's, oh yes. We're just going to take off the brightness of dude's shoes back here in this creepy hospital space here. I'm going to do one last thing to these feet. I'm going to put an overdrive on it. I'm going to target a lower tone on these. And the reason why is because I want to use these shoes again for the main character. I have a feeling we're not really going to see this creepy dude here for a bit. Make these sound a bit more like boots. And we'll leave the other one alone, mostly. Leave it bright. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Okay, so now we'll bring in the same stuff for our main character. So now I've got this second one, so we'll call this creepy doc feet, and we'll call this one hero feet. Try to keep them a little bit separate. And on this one, we're going to take off that overdrive and change that EQ a bit. Oh, you know what? I'm going to separate that little pulse that we've got in there. I'm going to separate that a bit from the footsteps by making it delayed. Yeah, that's kind of nice in there. It's so super subtle. I'm going to put an EQ on here as well. Just going to bump the bass notes just a little bit. All right. Now let's put his footsteps in there. Start off with a generic position here. Okay, so these are actually going to be quite a bit more rhythmic and regular, it looks like. This would probably be a lot easier with my keyboard. So I'm just a touch off on these. All right, not going to nitpick this one too much. Still don't like these footsteps. But that is our base. Where's our footsteps? There's our footsteps. Let's take off a bit of that brightness. And we got to change the reverb on this because we're in a hallway now. Okay, we'll just take off just a bit of those lower frequencies there. And just a touch of the reflective high end. Okay, and bring that back into context. Maybe this element in here come up one octave. Well, I definitely don't like it all that much. But for a quick dirty fix, it's okay. All right, so we've got a boom and a scrape. Enjoy the lunch, Saf. I'll see you for a session later today. Okay. We need a boom. Let's get a boom. Let's do something from Minimalist. Will probably work. All right, so we'll use this kind of hydraulic impact sound as it hits, and we'll use we might drop that a bit, and we'll use a rolling door. Let's use a rolling door as our the grinding sound. That might work. Oh, there we go. Mechanical. That'll probably work too. Okay, this one actually comes before the other in the timeline here. All right, so let's get these matched up, and then we'll stretch and drop and blah, blah, blah. This one will probably need to be stretched with speed here. Okay, we're still going to need something like this heavy door as well. So let's bring that in. So that'll actually come in first. Okay, so maybe this is the one that we're actually going to use for that. So we'll just get rid of the rest here. And now it's a matter of making that fit. Should not be too hard. We'll get the impact transients kind of lining up here. Okay, I'll bring this back just a little bit, and maybe we'll just stretch this a touch. And this guy. All right, so I do a little volume mix here. All right, so this, if we can just zero in on this for 1 sec. Let's bring this down. Do we stretch that or something? Why isn't it? Maybe I did. Here, let's just bounce it. All right, so now on this one, let's drop it. Oh, yeah. Just a hair late. That's probably close. Wonder if we can layer those two. That's kind of cool. All right, well, let's stack these two here. And let's just compress that. Okay, we got to get a fall kind of sound in here, and then we've got to get these impacts lined up. All right. make that happen. Oops. All right, let's just make the heavy closet door now work with the rest of what we've got going on here, sonically speaking. Let's just take a look at all those low frequencies. Oh, okay, hydraulic impact. All right, now let's put this into some space. This should be a fairly big low-end boost here. Something like this. There we go. Now let's put that into our space. That seems a little bit better. All right, let's zero in here. Okay. And this guy already has quite a bit of stuff working on it, but we can at least match it to the other one really quick. Yeah, that'll sound nice when we have it dialed in. Let's just take this from the top really quick and see what we're thinking of this so far. Take a sip of my coffee, see what you guys are chatting about. Well, one thing I noticed is that this tiny little crossover element that we put in here, this muffled breeze that we killed off early, we should absolutely bring that all the way out until that dark pad starts kicking. Just do something like this. We'll even stretch that out just a bit more. All right, back to the action here. Ooh, that sounds awesome. The sitar, dark drony sitar, I bet it does fit. Oh, we're all actually almost to the end of a scene here. All right, well, so far, I'm liking it. I don't like the footsteps, but I'm digging the rest. Let's see what happens after that fall. Oh, one thing we should do at the tail end of this hydraulic hit, or maybe right at the transient, is we're going to make this shimmy just a little bit. So, to our old friend tremolo. And it's just going to be at the top of this sound here. And it's going to be pretty quick. Okay, so we'll back off of that here. So that'll be the depth. And we'll just want this first initial hit, and we can bring down the rest here. Yeah, just so it kind of gives it a little reflection, or a little shimmy and a reflection of that shimmy. Right, it kind of matches up with what's on screen. It seems like that's probably about like a 30-second. Let's see. Okay, yeah, and let's move that impact up just a smidge. Move this just a smidge as well. I actually have some old elevator sounds, and it looks like he's about to go into an old elevator here. Lucky us. Let's grab those other steps and copy them over for this spot. So he starts walking right about there. All right, so we'll just massage this a bit. Okay, now, as is often the case with this kind of stuff, you kind of have to imagine the sounds when you're not hearing them, obviously. I mean, that's your job in a situation like this, but what are those sounds exactly, right? Well, I just happen to have this old elevator here. So let's just take a look at the action on the screen here in these next few seconds. And see if that might line up for us. Okay, they actually don't really show much. I should probably catch up with you guys for a sec. Creepy clomper, says Zev. Rain says, sorry, off-topic rant. Some brat stole my 70-year-old mother's credit card and blew hundreds on Fortnite. Felony identity theft and literally no one gives a crap. Holy crap, dude. Oh, man. Oh, man, and it was neighbors' rain, so this stuff isn't going to stop, are they? Or is it? Ugh. Man. I was down in the Bay Area a couple years ago and went to swipe the card to get on the train in the morning, and the card didn't work. What the hell? And found out that someone had used the card in Vegas the night before and got a whole lot of loot on a table, and that was that. I had to call, and they froze the account, and I couldn't use my card until they reissued a new one, and no one was able to explain how they got the information. I don't know. It was just all, it was a brand new debit card for my credit union. Hadn't really been used yet. It was really weird. The authorities don't care. The company doesn't care, and their parents think they're beautiful little angels. Yeah. As soon as the kids outside playing heard me say stolen credit card and Fortnite in the same sentence, they panicked and rode off on their bikes for the entire day. Suspicions confirmed. I mean, we found our torn up mail on their front porch, so obviously theft was obvious. Oh, man. Oh, that's brutal. Yeah, right. You got a cop neighbor too? Oh, man. Yeah, Zev, it's cool taking the past few weeks and applying them, right? And we'll just kind of continue to get a little bit further into all of that too. So let's get some elevator sounds in here. It really doesn't show much in the way of what might be happening with this elevator. So maybe we'll just get some kind of early arrival kind of sounds, and then we'll just cut to scene. Okay, so it obviously just cuts off there. We have to use our imagination and assume that this guy went for a quick ride. So what we're going to do is we're going to treat this sound and see if we can get it into this space. And I will have to go. I've got a couple of back-to-back sessions right after this stream. So we'll wrap up this scene. And then maybe we'll pick up where we left off on Friday. And see what else we can do. Now that we have kind of a rhythm with this, we should be able to make a bit more progress. Yeah, so this just is going to kind of create the illusion, or I get not create the illusion. What am I trying to say here? We're just going to let the game player know that he went for a quick ride. I'm just trying to find a darker tone here for this elevator. That might be a little bit better. That's a bit more believable. But I also want to stretch this out just a little bit. Or maybe I don't need to stretch it out. Maybe I just need to transpose it down just a couple of notches here. Maybe that's a bit too much. That sounds kind of nice. Okay, let's put this into a similar space as the others in the same hallway. And then we'll move on. Okay, bring way back on the size and length. And bring down our base, spread. Right. Zev, thank you for sticking around, dude. I will see you for a session tomorrow. I'll see Saffron for a session here in a little bit. Gonna be chatting it up with Imaginate before that. Let's see if we can get him in for a surprise little guest interview soon. He's got some new stuff dropping. Some old new stuff, new old stuff. Anybody else looking for private sessions, hit me up. It takes a week or two to schedule at this point, unless you're willing to work on my terms. Then we might be able to get you in quicker. Okay, let's bring that back a little bit. All right, and let's just take out some of that boom. A little dip here. Okay, and let's just hear that in context now. And this whole thing, is this our serum? That's our serum patch, right? Yeah, let's bring that out throughout this whole scene here. So maybe it'll stop here. So to do this justice, let's take and turn on our chase setting here. And save this. Let's back up just a bit. It's a hard transition right there. Another hard transition. Oh man, what's he doing? Like taking a step for half a second here? That was probably my bad. Yeah, it is. Okay. Okay, so we will just let that kind of fade here. We've got our reverb going. So what we can do is we can kind of exaggerate the length of that reverb hit. Oh, maybe that doesn't work too well. Let me bring that back down. We'll figure out a better way to do that. Oh, I know what we can do. We'll just stretch this out just a bit. It'll fade. So that starts here. We'll just include it for the first couple of frames. All right. So back into this kind of space, we could bring back in that same hallway kind of ambience track that we had going before and just start it anew right here. Yeah, sure, we'll copy the automation. Oh, except, you know, actually, now that I think about it, I don't think we should duplicate that. I think we should just extend it before he goes into the next room, because it looks like he's about to step into this room here. And we'll probably just carry it up to that point. All right, so we'll put some footsteps here. He's got himself an axe now. So here's a new room space. God, hard transitions in this game. Yeah, exactly. People don't move like that. You know, it's funny what ends up making it in really big games too. It's like the credibility of the franchise and like the overall fun of the game makes it such that we just dismiss these little things and we stay immersed. I think we're so wanting to stay immersed in the whole thing that's exactly what we do. Let's bring these footsteps over here because he's moving again. Always on the move. That almost matched up. I'm not going to worry about it right this second. Okay, so we've got new room, new space, and new beautiful player in the room with us. Monster in the room with us. And I think that's probably where we're going to pick up on Friday. Now, we're probably going to be doing some review stuff as well on Friday, so we'll try to mix that into whatever we get up to production-wise. And we are nearing the end of the holiday or the Halloween run. And I want to get back to normal production stuff because I'm just itching to get stuff done. I like these longer run things, but I think that we're getting to the point that we kind of know what we want to do in the stream on the regular. We're getting more interviews lined up, more reviews lined up, and I want decent production time in there as well. So between now and Friday when we meet again, if you guys want to start thinking about the type of stuff that you have always wanted a chance to work on, or conversely, the type of sounds that you've wanted to get your hands on, we're going to be building some community packs soon. So start thinking about what those sounds might be. A lot of music makers around in the chat these days. We can do straight music. Lots of people wanting to work in video games. We could do sound effects type stuff. It's up to you guys. And if you don't have a preference, then I'm just going to pick. And we're going to work on it for a couple of days and be highly productive. But that's after the Halloween stuff. That's just something to put into your mind. You kick it around over the next couple of days and think about what you want to see. Rain. There's clunky stuff and errors in all kinds of productions the audience rarely notices. Yeah, that's the truth. I was watching a frame-by-frame breakdown of the first scenes in Akira the other night. Incredible work, just mind-blowing. Also riddled with errors and accidents in the composites. Yeah, I bet. I bet. Especially the early stuff. That's it's difficult to get perfect. Sweet. I love the attitude and the openness, Rain. I have a feeling that there's going to be large chunks of time where you guys are going to be just fine and perfectly content just being, you know, over the shoulder, so to speak, as I work on releases, as we all kind of settle in. So I'm happy to do that if you guys don't have requests at any time. That said, I got a boogie. I got a bunch of sessions today. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day today. Again, hit me up if you're looking for sessions for yourself. Email link is in the chat. Paul, good luck with the continued testing of the stream. I hope things go so smoothly for you as you lead up to your first live stream. I know it's going to be awesome. All right, kitty cats, I will see you on the flip side. I'll make sure to save this first before I boogie. And I'll leave the chat live for a sec so you guys can keep talking to each other and whatnot. But I'll see you on the flip. Thanks again for sticking around. We'll do it again in a couple days. Bye.